right, super excited about this one. I'll be totally honest, this is not an original idea by any means. Being able to generate blogs with AI has been around since, well, ChatGPT really got started, and even before that with like larger tools like Jasper and things of that, but it's like really hit the forefront lately. However, I really like mine because I built it. I guess I'm a little biased, but it's going to be fully incorporated into the rest of Content HQ, which means that going forward in the future, anything else we kind of build and leverage on, like podcast transcriptions, generating content from YouTube videos, generating content from news feeds and other articles, is going to be a lot easier. So this is the framework, I guess, for building out a blog. I'll show you guys quickly how it works, and then we'll kind of dive in a little bit more into how exactly I built it. So this is kind of the basic interface here. It has kind of three main stages. So you're going to generate your title, you're going to generate your outline, and then you're going to edit your article. You can write in exactly what you want this article to be about. I do have a kind of prompting system in there. You can add in your own keywords that you want to focus on, change your tone of voice up as well. You can kind of guide it as to how long of the article you would like, as well as what perspective or point of view you want to have. These will automatically pull in from the company data on the target audience and the products and services that you have. I just don't have that filled out quite yet for Content HQ. Then from there, it'll generate some different titles for you, where you can actually change this into whatever words you want. So learning journey, maybe you want it to be that instead. And then we're going to pick this one. And then from there, you can go ahead and create outline, which is going to take you over to this page here, where it generates kind of these main outline bullet points, right? But then you can dive a little bit deeper, and maybe you want to add in some subpoints in here. You can manually add them, if I could spell that right, or you can add them with AI as well. So it'll generate 3 different kind of sub-talking points that are relevant to this main point here. If you don't like it, you can go ahead and delete that. And then you can either use your own expertise and fill in the blanks in here where you want to kind of dive a little bit deeper or guide the blog in whatever direction you want. But of course, we can always just throw some AI magic in there too, and it'll generate kind of more talking points, which you can go through, edit. Perhaps you want something to be a little bit different as well. So I was being kind of silly and playing around with dog training, so that's still a little bit in here. But basically, totally up to you on how you want to customize it. Once you've built this all out, perhaps you want to rearrange things a little bit too, so you can move these up or down, depending on what you prefer. As well, you can kind of move the main points up or down, depending on how you would like them organized. Then from there, you're going to hit Write Article, which is going to generate a full article for you, just like so. You might have to go through and kind of adjust your headlines a little bit, edit it to make it sound exactly yours. If it was anything to do with case studies, you're going to have to put your own personalized case studies in there. But you can edit the title still, and edit all of this as well. You can take a look at what it would look like. This is like kind of hard-coded HTML formatting. Or if you're so inclined you want to customize this HTML a little bit, you can definitely do that as well, just to make any changes you like. You can also pick out your image here too. So I have it kind of sourced in with Pexels, which is kind of free images. Then once you have some images uploaded, you're going to see them in here. And of course, add in your image alt text, girl listening to a podcast. And then you're good to go. That's all saved and dandy for you. And then in my case, because I'm writing blogs about Content HQ, it just automatically comes up here to the front end, where it's all technically a live published blog, ready to go for us. In most of your cases, you'll be wanting to add it over to your own blog, which is where this HTML really comes in handy. You can just copy and paste that into whatever you're doing. At some point in the future, we are going to have some better integrations there as well. So in terms of like how this is kind of all built, a lot of different things kind of happen in the back end. So this is kind of like the main blog template in our editor. So we have some different related blogs, and then we have that HTML section that we had before. I've added in a little bit of custom styling in there to make it look a little bit better. We have that featured image, the different tags if we wanted to add tags to our blog. If we have an excerpt, we can do that, and then we have a blog title here as well. And then the blog editor is here. And so what this does, if we hide kind of the unnecessary components here as I'm showing you guys around. What this does is there's kind of like this main section here where we were able to kind of edit and make these changes, kind of like a form. And then we also have the other sections down here that change depending on what stage of the blog we're at, right? So titles, right? Outline, and then the main editor section. So what's made my life a little bit easier, I guess, because we are dealing a lot with OpenAI and a lot of different responses, is actually using repeating groups that are a text. So I will show you here. So this is like a text field. So I don't want to every time save all of these different blog title options to my database, because that's silly, especially when we're not using them. So what I did was I told the API for OpenAI to respond back in the form of JSON, and then put that as a list of text here. And then I'm using a JSON manipulator plugin that reads the JSON with the different titles and then displays it in here. So what my API call ends up looking like, and excuse me, I have quite a few of them because it takes several of them to get this all done. But this is the one for titles. So this is the kind of API call to OpenAI system. And then I told it to respond in JSON that looks like this here. So you have the titles, and then it's just an array of 4 different title options. Okay, perfect, works really well. Obviously, that's a very simple use case. And then from there, obviously you pick your titles, you change them. The outline though is where it gets quite a bit more complicated. I'll show you maybe first what the structure for the outline looks like. So if you go here, the outline structure, it has outline, order numbers, so for when we're reordering them. And then what we'll do here actually is just copy and paste this. Alrighty, so what we got over here is, and maybe I can just move myself over there, is the kind of full outline. So and this will help explain as well. So you have kind of the outline, then you have the order, then you have the different points, and then each of those layers underneath is different subpoints along with their own specific order, and then the details as well for each of those subpoints, right? All in there like that. And then so this is important when you're using the JSON manipulator plugin, so how you're going to get these different values in here, this specific JSON, you need to use something called a JSON path. So if we typed in that one and then outline, right, this would pull it over to the outline. And then if we were to say, hypothetically, we wanted all of the different subpoints or points, we could go something like this, potentially. JSON, oh, it's just point. That would be why. So you have to be obviously very specific, but we could just pull the list of points kind of using this JSON path, right? If you're not too familiar with it, maybe ask ChatGPT exactly how this works, but that's basically how it works. The other key element though is having different indexes. So if you just want the first one, if you want the actual first one, so the arrays are always 0 based. So if 0 is actually the first item in the list, you can do that as well. If you want just that part of it, right? Like obviously that part you can do. Or what's even more important is if we go subpoints, and then we just want the first subpoint, and then we just want that one's text, right? So it kind of just goes like that. But if you go order, so again, you'll see this one was from the first list here, and then the first one, but our order in our expression here, I guess, has an extra 1 added. It starts at 1 versus being 0 based. So that'll be important later. And then we can hop back over here. So kind of how I made this all happen with the reordering of the up, down, being able to change each of these, being able to change all of this in here dynamically was all with a lot of JavaScript. So with JavaScript, they have the tool, or with Bubble, they have the toolbox plugin, which is very popular. It's probably like the top plugin that people install. And this allows you to bring JavaScript elements into your workflows. Okay, so one of the examples here, when we go and change that main point, we run some JavaScript, and this is a fairly simple example, that pulls the outline that we have in our database, and then we get the current point index, and then we just change that into an actual number, and then we take the actual value there, and then we just make the outline here the actual new value of this input. So basically we're manipulating the JSON data that we have in this blob's outline to just change this one here. And how we control it is by the index value here. But then remember, because it's zero-based, we need to subtract 1. So that's a very simple example. It gets a little bit complicated if you are going into those subpoints, because you have the need to find the correct index here, and then you need to find the correct index for the subpoint, so you're not changing all of them or none of them or something like that. But yeah, that's the basic gist of it. Similarly, I'm changing the order number. When I click on these little up-down arrows, I just change the order number, and then it reevaluates and resets everything in there. So yeah, that's the gist of how it's all built. I would love to help you out. If you do have any questions, you can leave a comment below. If you want to check out Content HQ, it's open and ready for access. You can listen to any podcast and take notes and create LinkedIn posts all from that, which you can see in all my previous videos. But other than that, I hope this helped somebody, and take